All right. I'm excited. Welcome, everybody, to the Red Rover Republic podcast. My name is Millie, and this is my co host, Unrealness. What's up? What's up?
Vibing,
All
baby.
right. Vibin. Everybody get their snackies, get their coffee, get all of your snacks and everything good to go. I'm going to get mine good to go. Start this off right.
Oh,
And
yeah.
a happy New Year's to everybody.
Happy New Year's. It's going to be a beautiful
Mhm.
year. 2025 was fantastic. This one's going to be even better.
You think? I think it's gonna be a wild year. I think it's gonna be a wild year with a lot of drama. A lot of drama.
Absolutely. That's what I'm looking
Oh,
forward to. As long as it's not drama in my own life, my personal life, I love to just sit back and watch things set on fire. It's a good time.
100%. All right, let's dig into it. What is gonna be the first juicy story of the night? I don't know which one to choose from. Mm. I wanna go over the Jack Smith stuff, but I also want to touch base on the mayor of Seattle. So let's dig into the new Democratic mayor of Seattle. Her name is Katie Wilson, and she is a self-described socialist.
Of course she is.
You gotta love it. You gotta love
Free
the
stuff.
extra
Vote for me.
socialism.
Yeah.
I don't know how they keep getting convinced to do this.
Well, people like the path of least resistance. And they want, if you offer them free shit, they're like, I want free shit. It makes kind of sense.
That's our problem with society, is that everybody wants everything for free. I want free things, but I don't want to pay for it. I want some rich guy that I don't know to pay for it. It's much easier to say that when it's not coming out of your pocket. So, here's Katie Wilson for you.
I had the honor of being noticed by the President of the United States, who called me a very, very liberal / communist mayor. It's nice to feel seen. That's all I'm going to say about that. And earlier this month, we launched our transition team. I had the honor.
Oh my God. You're muted. I think you're muted. There
Sorry.
you go.
I'm going to tell you, she has the exact same track record as Zoran. Never really had a job.
Yep.
Was living with her mother. Is now running a city. So these are the people that they think are like great for managing a city. So I mean, honestly, what could go wrong? I do love this comment. Base dweller.
No, is that comment referring to the person behind her? Look at that goober. What the? He's not
I
look
don't know.
maxing at all, bro.
I don't know who's worse, like the Sasquatch, like right behind her head on the right. That guy is like full hair, just hair everywhere. Okay, completely ungroomed. The guy next to her, possibly her boyfriend. Okay, we don't know for sure.
No.
Either that or her creepy uncle. I just don't know. But this guy, I mean, like this is who's running Seattle.
Oh my gosh. I mean, Seattle's already been basically cooked. I don't know if this is going to be any worse than what they've already been having or dealing with. So
You
who
think
knows?
you think Seattle's absolutely Seattle's been
Yeah.
cooked. Let's
Yeah.
be honest, okay? I haven't ever enjoyed going to Seattle, even living here in the state. Every time I go there, I instantly want to leave. Even if I'm just picking my friends up at the airport, I'm like, ugh, I don't even want to drive through the 10 cities pass. But this is the new mayor of Seattle. Except for this one didn't do the Sig Heil salute.
Oh,
That
give it
one
time. Give it time.
give
Give it
it some
time.
time, we might get there. She was also questioned by Cam Higbee. So Cam Higbee, who's, if you don't know, he's doing kind of what Nick Shirley is doing. So he's in Seattle on the ground, checking out all of these subsidized Somali daycares, and he's been doing quite great work. I think he's going to probably release something similar to Nick Shirley, but he's been dropping little cookies for us along the way, so to keep us up to date. But he waited in line to ask her a question and then simply was just, turned away. They didn't want to answer any questions from him. So let me make sure this isn't too loud.
Said that everyone has a place in Seattle. Do, as you put it, extremist influencers have a place in Seattle?
Well, he's right here, so I guess so.
Who, John? Or me? What is your administration going to do to investigate?
No questions, sir. No questions.
No questions. You can't answer questions. You get a photo and then you're out. We're not doing press availability. We're not doing press availability today. That'll be later this week. I need you to move. Wilson, why don't you call the people looking at the Somali daycare fraud? You all follow up. Thank you. Have a good one. Take care. Take care. So we just stood in line to get a question for newly inaugurated Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson. As I got up there, I asked, because she said in her speech that everyone has a place in Seattle, and I said, does that include, as she put it, extremist influencers in her statement? She looked at Jonathan and she said, well, there's one standing right there. And then I said, well,
I'm the guy.
She's the guy. What is your administration going to do to investigate Somali daycare fraud? And she literally started pushing me away and said, we're not taking questions at this time. I said, you're the newly elected mayor of Seattle. What do you mean you're not taking questions? And her staff ushered me out.
Oh. No, she's taking questions. She's just not taking your questions, bro. She's definitely taking questions.
I don't like difficult questions. I really can't. Oh boy. So Denise writes, this woman lives with her parents, failed college, never worked. Her boyfriend is unemployed.
That has to be the one of the two guys behind her. Then it has to be. It has to
I
be
don't know.
Sasquatch. It has to be Sasquatch, or it has to be the guy with the glasses who looks like he has a very questionable hard drive.
That guy gives me the creeps. Even just looking at him gives me the fucking creeps. But I also want to turn our attention to another mayor that just got sworn in. So I want to show you her statements that she made about being openly an illegal immigrant. So I will show you that. So this is the mayor in St. Paul, Minnesota. So her name is Keoli.
Because his mother had died.
You get the volume.
Oh, I actually yes, I do remember
You
this.
seen this?
Yeah, I have seen this. Yeah.
My father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother. And so I am illegal in this country. My parents are illegal here in this country. Because his mother had died. My father, as the one processing the paperwork, put my grandmother down as his mother.
Mm-hmm.
And so I am illegal in this country.
I'm illegal in this
Deport.
country.
Deport. What are we doing?
And her parents are also illegal in this country, but she's the mayor of a city, right? Right? Like
Yeah.
make it make sense.
She was okay. To be fair to her, she didn't choose the fraud. Okay, the fraud chose her because she was obviously a child when this had happened. That being said, it doesn't change the fact that you're an illegal immigrant in this country. Deport. What are we doing here?
I want to know why these people are ending up in these positions. I'm trying to understand, like, this person doesn't have any legal grounds to be here, but they're a mayor who's going to make decisions on behalf of Americans, but you're not even American. This is honestly, we need to pass legislation that specifically says, oh, sorry, I don't know what. Oh, I'm not supposed to have commercials. It's because I'm not on my other account. I'll have to pull that up.
Oh,
at some
wrong
point.
account.
It's the wrong YouTube account. Oopsies. So this was her getting sworn in. But we need to pass legislation that simply says, like, you cannot hold public office in America unless you are a natural born citizen. Just period. I don't understand how that's even tolerated.
Friday, I'm Lauren Lemanchek.
And I'm Jennifer Hoff. Boy, a historic day in St. Paul, where just a few hours ago, the city's new mayor was sworn into office, and our Gordon Severson was there for Kali Her's inauguration.
At the beginning of a new year, there's a new beginning in St. Paul.
Today is about the beginning of a new era.
With the inauguration of a new mayor.
It is my deep honor to present to you the next mayor of the city of St. Paul, Kali Vang Her.
A mayor of many firsts. The first female, first Asian, and first Hmong American to lead the city of St. Paul.
I may be the first in some of these categories, but I will not be the last.
A ceremony filled with prayers and poems.
And I stand on, not broken by what we endured,
Still hoping.
Still loving.
and promises to focus on the basics of city government.
That means responding to every request, getting construction permits out the door, and facilitating conversations that keep and retain businesses.
Mayor Herr also vows to add new city rules that would limit ICE operations and other federal activity within the city limits, and to support nearly $1 billion worth of infrastructure upgrades and repairs across the city.
Including our largest city assets, the Grand Casino Arena, River Center, and Roy Wilkins Auditorium. From our outdated fire training facilities to our libraries, we need to plan to maintain and rebuild our public assets.
Mayor Herr also thanked her mentor, the late Melissa Hortman.
And it was her mentorship and example that led me to.
That's funny. Thank you for bringing up Melissa Hortman. I wonder what happened to her. I wonder what happened, because Vance Bolter says something really nefarious happened.
Very
in
interesting
Minnesota.
letter. Very interesting letter. Yeah.
Very dark letter. So that was her. I believe she also made a couple of statements about ICE in her swearing in as well. But again, here we are having yet another foreigner be, I don't know, running a city on behalf of natural-born American citizens. I
Why
don't
do you
know
think
how
this
we
is,
got
Millie?
here.
Why do you think it is? What do you think it is? You think it's just the promise of free things?
I think it really is. Like the way that Consumer Finance Protection Bureau goes after people when they try to sell somebody something that is free, but it's not actually free. I think that should have the same guidelines for voting. You shouldn't be able to run off of telling voters that they're going to get things for quote unquote free.
It's a
Because
bribe.
taxes are going to get raised. So I really don't believe in a situation where people should be running on free things.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's promising money. You're bribing people with money they don't actually at that time have control over, and they're saying, "Listen, you give me control of that purse, I'll give you some free stuff." And who's going to pay for that stuff? Well, we're going to tax everybody but you. Everyone's getting taxed but you.
We're going to get the rich to come in and pay for it. It's kind of like the same thing that happened with Kathy Hochul, where, Kathy is like, yeah, we're not going to raise the taxes. And so now Mondani is stuck with trying to figure out how he is going to make all of these policies come true without the money. So here was Keoli saying they were going to use the police to impede ICE. So take a look.
We are already breaking down communication barriers between the police and our community partners to ensure that when ICE comes here again, we are working together as a community. Let's not forget who is the aggressor here, who is the one tearing families apart, who is targeting people by the way that they look or how they sound. Working together in solidarity is the only way to weather through these next few years. We are all.
You know what tears families apart? Is when people who were in that family or that are capable of working are being disenfranchised by illegal immigrants being in their communities, taking certain jobs. That's what tears families apart.
You know what tears people apart? Having immigrants come into the country and their loved ones being murdered or raped, or both in some cases. Laken Riley. So I don't understand. One, the states and cities specifically have zero authority to tell the federal government that they cannot enforce federal immigration law. This is democracy. This is federal law. So I don't understand. This is why I'm saying, where are the arrests?
Where are the perp walks?
This is literally a conspiracy to go against and actually stop and impede federal law enforcement from enforcing federal law. I don't understand why these people, every time they come out on the podium and say this stuff, that they're not getting slapped with conspiracy charges. If Donald Trump can get slapped with conspiracy to defraud the United States, so can they. So can all of these fucking people. J.B. Pritzker, Tim Walz, Zoran Mondani, Keoli right now. Keoli Herr now is on that rap sheet. Katie Wilson, the new mayor of Seattle. All of these people can also get slapped with conspiracy to defraud, conspiracy to impede federal authority. Where is Pam Bondi? I don't know.
What? First off, why isn't she fired yet? Why the hell is she not fired yet? What
I'm
is it about?
begging. I'm begging.
It's crazy to me. I mean, I'm not. You know what? I'm going to keep my thoughts to myself. I'm not going to draw a huge fucking monologue of conspiracies here, but there's something definitely fishy here. Something definitely fishy. And the fact there's something going on is the reason why she has not been removed or fired yet.
I'm like, what does she have? Some dirt or something? I don't understand. Donald Trump's asking for indictments. Kash Patel's asking for indictments. Dan Bongino's asking for indictments. The entire fucking MACA base is asking for indictments. Where are they? And these people keep running their mouth, acting like they're untouchable because they're not being held accountable for doing this. This is point blank conspiracy. And it's instructed by the local and state police to impede ICE, which they have no authority to do. So it's like they're waiting until they're impeded. Whatever happened to the conspiracy?
So do they? I mean, I don't know if they can be charged just based off of those words. I'm not entirely sure of how that would work. Would they have to? Would they actually have to?
Trump.
So they would they actually have to violate the law before? I mean,
No. That's why there's a conspiracy charge. So if you plan a crime, okay, a federal crime, if you plan it out, even if you don't follow through with it, you can still be charged with conspiracy. So you were talking about doing that crime, whether or not you followed through with it before we caught you, you can still get charged with the conspiracy portion, even if it was never done. Jack Smith talks about this, actually. This is probably a good time to go into the Jack Smith stuff.
yeah, this is a beautiful time, actually. Yeah, good point.
So let me see the one where he talks about the First Amendment, that the president doesn't have the right to First Amendment. So this is the hypocrisy. It's like you can only have the law go one way. So either it's okay for one or it's okay for none. So right here is
Rules
the
for
Jack
thee,
Smith.
not for me.
For specific conversations, I do remember that we knew that a sort of First Amendment defense would be part of the case, and I think when I mentioned to you earlier about how to frame the case, we wanted to make clear that this was not about trying to interfere with anyone's First Amendment rights, that this was a fraud. And as you know, under Supreme Court precedent, fraud is not protected by the First Amendment. And so in my mind, it was important to make that clear in the indictment. And that's why when we litigated this issue before the district court, we prevailed.
But the president's statements that he believed the election was rife with fraud, those certainly are statements that are protected by the First Amendment, correct?
Absolutely not. If they are made to target a lawful government function and they're made with knowing falsity. No, they're not. That was my point about fraud not being protected.
So
you would have to prove that he would know that, which would be impossible. It would be literally impossible to prove that.
So one, the funniest part about this is it's him talking about it is what he says the crime is. It's not that he actually did it. It is the talking about it. So it was a conspiracy to defraud, and especially making false statements about a government structure is what Jack Smith said was not covered under the First Amendment.
By the First Amendment.
Oh, that's frustrating.
I mean, there's a long list of disputed elections. I mean, the election of 1800, 1960, year 2000, where candidates believe they were wronged by because they lost. And there's a long history of candidates speaking out about they believe there's been fraud, there's been other problems with the integrity of the election process. And I think you would agree that those types of statements are sort of at the core of the First Amendment rights of a presidential candidate. Right?
Yeah. You would think.
There is no historical analog for what President Trump did in this case. As we said in the indictment, He was
Uh,
free to say that he
Lot of
thought he
ums.
won the election. He was even
You just said he wasn't.
free to say falsely that he won the election. But what he was
You
not
just said
free
you
to
couldn't.
do was
Oh,
violate
this makes me
the
mad.
law and use knowingly false statements about election fraud to target a lawful government function. That
he just lays out in both situations where that would be covered under the First Amendment and then proceeds to go, well, he can't make knowingly false statements about the government. What?
How can you prove that you would have to prove that he was making knowingly false statements, which would be literally impossible to do.
That was the entire purpose of the First Amendment to begin with, is that I can say whatever the fuck I want about the government. I could sit there all day long and talk shit on the government. And even if what I happen to say may be false, or maybe I know it's false, I'm still allowed to say that you're a pig-headed piece of shit. Do you actually have a pig head? No. But I'm still allowed to say that you're a pig-headed piece of shit.
No, yeah.
That is the
but
whole purpose of the First Amendment.
what I'm saying though is like I get what his point is, but you would have to prove that he knew, or he verbally stated that he knew he lost, but he's gonna say and do this anyways, which hasn't happened, and there's no proof of that. So what is he even talking about? And again, he just basically contradicted himself with his second statement.
But that doesn't follow through with what the attorney in the room had also laid out, is that we have had multiple elections where the candidates that lost said that there was fraud, said that, they actually won this, and that the reason that they won this is because there was some fraud or mishap that took place, and that they're actually the rightful leader. This has happened many times before, and not really even that long ago with Bush v. Gore. That happened. There was
Right.
challenges to the certificate. And so I just don't understand how you get to, well, this is now conspiracy to defraud the United States. No. So I doubt that if this ever would have fully went to court, that this would have been slapped down. By the way, this man has a fucking 0 victory record when it comes to court cases within the United States.
Also, he's not looks maxing at all. I'm just gonna put that out there.
Bro
What is
looks
this raggedy
tired.
ass, bro? Have you heard of Just for Men? Comb
Oh
it through
my
your beard.
God.
What are we doing here?
Um,
I'm capitalizing on looks maxing. I'm doing it. Fuck it. This is where we're at right now. I'm
We're
gonna
gonna
do it.
we're gonna go straight into looks maxing. Okay, so I'm just gonna cover some of the quick things about Jack Smith's testimony, and then we will move on to some of the other lineups for the night. So I'm gonna grab this testimony from Jack Smith, where he says he just doesn't recall who swore him in as special counsel. Which, by the way, the whole thing with him getting tossed by Eileen Cannon was that he wasn't lawfully appointed. So for the same reason that Letitia James and James Comey slipped through the cracks because there wasn't a lawful appointment, this is the exact same reason why Jack Smith slept through the cracks.
When you were sworn in as special counsel when you were in Amsterdam, is that correct?
yes.
Who swore you in?
I don't recall.
And was it over Zoom or something?
Don't recall.
Or was someone present? Was, Mr. Cooney or Mr. Cooney and Bratt and several folks came to visit you in Amsterdam, is that right?
Not in Amsterdam. I was in The Hague, in the
Okay.
Netherlands. They probably flew into Amsterdam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
And yes, they came to see me shortly after I was appointed.
But you don't remember who administered the oath? Who can administer the oath? Like, who's authorized at DOJ to administer the oath?
I don't know.
But you did take an oath. You remember that?
I do recall that. Yeah.
But you don't remember whether it was in the
Guys, I just don't remember how I got this appointment. I have absolute amnesia. I know this was only like 2 years ago.
If you remember taking this oath, you should at the very least remember doing it over Zoom or in person. Did you do it over the internet, or did you do it with somebody in front of you directly? That is a detail a person would not forget. If you remember that it happened, you should remember that it happened in person or over a damn Zoom call. What are we doing here? That's
Well,
crazy to me.
the funniest thing is that Jack Smith is not even in the country when Bragg picks up the phone and calls him. Not Bragg. Sorry, that was the 34 felonies case. It's Merrick Garland who picks up the phone and makes contact with him while he's at The Hague, working on another case in The Hague in Netherlands. They call Jack Smith up to come do this case specifically. So I just think it's a little suspicious. Now he just doesn't recall who swore him in. Okay, well, do you know who can lawfully swear you in? I don't recall. It's
Well,
crazy.
is it not on record on who did it? Would there not be a record?
Yes.
So I can't
He
with
does.
this.
He doesn't remember. Guys, he has amnesia. It's okay. We forget a lot of things over here at the DOJ, apparently.
It just seems like you'd at least be able to remember. Listen, I understand maybe you don't remember the person's name, sure. Can you give me a description? What did they look like? Was it a man? Was it a woman? Did you do it over the internet? Did you do it in person? If you know for a fact it happened, you can at least tell me if it happened in person or not.
Well, okay. This man is known since the beginning of December that he was going to be questioned about all of this. This man had advance notice to be prepared for this meeting. And I don't recall.
I was still in the Netherlands as my
This is the
recollection.
Democrat savior.
So it had to be either a DOJ official came to see you, or it had to be over Zoom, right? Those are the options?
Or over the phone. I don't have a recollection that I can help you here.
Okay.
Oh my God. This is the savior of the Democrats.
I don't know if it was over Zoom. I don't know if it was over the phone. I don't remember anything that was happening when I got appointed. That's wild because that's kind of like what your case rests on is your appointment.
But you remember the tweets coming from all the Democrats saying that Jack Smith's claimed that he had enough evidence to put Donald Trump in jail. I'm sorry, man. I just from that little moment right there alone, no, he didn't. He didn't have shit. He didn't have shit. He had nothing, and he knows he had nothing. If he can't recall that, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's not the only thing he can't recall because there's just a lot of things that he has amnesia about. So I just wanted to show you this one too.
To subpoena the Speaker of the House's toll records, right?
We followed department policy and we followed all legal requirements in getting those records.
I mean, to get the information you're looking for, nobody disputed the Speaker and the President were having communications on January 6th. So one way you could have gotten that information is you could have asked the Speaker's lawyer to look at his phone records and to give you the information you needed, right?
Well, you say now that nobody's disputing, but my experience in criminal investigations is that people often at trial dispute things that you never thought were going to be in dispute during the investigation. And so when I conduct a criminal investigation, I don't assume there will be no disputes. Having a record that is a hard record about a time, and the timeline of that afternoon was particularly important because that violence started. The president refused to stop it. He endangered the life of his vice president. Then he's getting calls, and not calls from Democrats, not calls from people he doesn't know, calls from people he trusts, calls from people he relies on, and still refuses to come to the aid of the people at the Capitol. That's very important evidence for criminal intent in our case.
The weird part about the quote unquote criminal intent is the fact that his SecDef under oath says, yes, the president did ask for 10,000 troops to be at the Capitol, but I just didn't interpret that as an order. The Secretary of the Army, the Secretary of the Army says almost about the same thing. I wasn't never going to put troops at the Capitol. So let me bring this up. Sorry, go ahead, get your take.
Oh, I mean, let's just go on. I'm accumulating right now. I'm building right now.
You're building? Okay.
I'm building up.
While you're building, I'm just going to show the directives that were coming from the president to his most trusted advisors, which I would assume is including the SecDef. So let me grab the transcripts from the oversight.
I wonder how the Democrats are seeing this. I mean, are they claiming like there's any sort of victory here, or they are just ignoring this entire thing? Have any Democrats came out and said, "Boom, Jack Smith gets Trump good here"? You know, like they think that that's what happened. They cut off a certain little segment that might sound beneficial to their cause. Is that what they're doing?
And they're too busy like jerking
I haven't
off
seen anything.
Epstein.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
they're
haven't
too
seen
busy
anything.
talking about
Well,
Epstein.
they glazed up. They glazed up this dude for like the last couple of months because he claimed that he had so much evidence he could have put Trump away. And yet I haven't seen a single post from any predominant Democrat on Twitter or X or whatever highlighting this whole thing at all.
Yes.
This is embarrassing for the Democrats. This is highly embarrassing.
Well, it gets more embarrassing as we look at, and I'm not sure how they never got in trouble for this. General Mark Milley, Chairman, Joint Chief of Staff, the president just says, hey, look at this. There's going to be a large amount of protesters here on the 6th. Make sure that you have sufficient National Guard or soldiers to make sure it's a safe event. POTUS said, hey, I don't care if you use guard. Soldiers, active duty soldiers, do whatever you have to do. Just make sure it's safe. Okay, so that's from General Mark Milley, Chairman, Joint Chief of Staff. Then you have Christopher Miller. The president commented that they were going to need 10,000 troops the following day. I interpreted that as a bit of presidential banter or President Trump banter, as you're all familiar with. In no way, shape, or form did I interpret that as an order or a direction. What?
Okay, I've never heard Donald Trump banter like that before. Presidential banter. You chose to ignore an order. You realize you fucked up because of your own interpretation. If you felt like that, you're like, that's kind of a big ask, by the way. This is a really big ask. So at any point of time, you thought to yourself, was he being serious? If you thought that to yourself, clarify. Be like, excuse me, Mr. President, did you mean for me to do what you asked me to do? That's what you should be doing. You don't get to interpret it based off of how you feel. And this is, to me, this is a hindsight interpretation. He knew that Donald Trump was asking him legitimately to do this, to have him do his job. And then after what had happened, he's now trying to save himself, essentially. That's what he's trying to do.
Well, and then he goes on to say there was absolutely no way I was putting U.S. military forces at the Capitol, period. So even if the president directed you, gave you a direct order from your commander in chief, that you admit right here, there was no way that you were going to put military at the Capitol to defend the Capitol. And then it goes on. It says the operational plan was this: let's take the DC National Guard, keep them away from the Capitol. Then Stephen Sun, who is the Capitol Police. Now, this is the guy who's communicating with Nancy Pelosi's team and the Sergeant at Arms at the Capitol because they were saying we're being overrun. So Stephen Sun says, I'm making an urgent request for National Guard. We are being overrun. I have a quick rundown of what we had going on and the officers out there fighting for their lives. We're about to be taken over. The representation from the Secretary of the Army said, I don't like the optics of the National Guard standing in line in front of the Capitol or in the background of the Capitol. So again, how is it Donald Trump's fault when everybody is telling these officials at the top, hey, we're being overrun. There's a riot here at the Capitol. We're going to need National Guardsmen to step in and do something. And you have the Secretary of the Army saying, meh, I don't like the optics of the National Guard being at the Capitol. So
it's not,
go on, fam.
nobody elected
Secretary
you.
of Defense.
Nobody
Sorry, go
elected
ahead.
him. I'm just saying nobody elected this person to be the president. The president makes the decision. The way you feel about things is completely irrelevant. Nobody cares. Sure. Maybe it would have looked bad, maybe it would have looked bad. Sure. But it would have discouraged whatever did happen on J6. It would have absolutely discouraged it from even taking place in the first place. And the Democrats today, we're in a different timeline. They would be bitching like, oh, this is what Trump did back then, even though there was no, I don't care. I don't care. Okay, I don't like to play the game of hindsight fallacies. Okay, the fact of the matter is, it was a direct order. It was completely ignored because of interpretation, which I don't believe. I want to reiterate that I do
don't
not
believe it
believe.
either.
I believe he understood it was an order, and now he's trying to save face. Yeah,
Yes.
he should be in prison. He should absolutely be in prison. This is crazy.
Well, so this whole testimony disproves Jack Smith's claim about quote unquote intent, because this actually shows the opposite of intent, because Donald Trump is saying specifically, hey, I want people there to protect the Capitol. I think it's going to get rowdy. I want people there to make sure that it's a safe event. So that disproves the claim of intent to take over the United States Capitol. But it gets even better, because Commanding General William Walker, DC National Guard, my thoughts are that there has to be something else at play here. Why is there such a concern about the proximity to the Capitol? Haven't we done this before? General Payette said at 2:42, it would not be his best military advice to send the National Guard to the U.S. Capitol at this time. Military presence could make the situation worse and the optics look bad. And then Colonel Earl Matthews, DC National Guard, the DC Guard could have gone in right away, but the Secretary of Army did not give us the approval, which is crazy, because again, they're all worried about what the optics of this look like, not about the safety of the people at the Capitol, not about the safety of the congressmen at the Capitol. They're not even concerned about that. They're just like, this is going to look bad for PR. Worse than what it looks like now? Like, what are we talking about?
I mean, we have Babbitt, right? You were talking about this on your live the other day. Her family received, and they won their civil case. Yeah, so they won the settlement, or they got a settlement from their civil case, and which I don't think is enough. I don't know how. I don't remember the officer's name off the top of my head, but he should be in jail for that. I mean, if
George Floyd.
Exactly. I mean, I don't want to bring race into the conversation necessarily, but I feel like it actually has a lot to do with the reason to the fact on why he's not in prison, or he's not up for any sort of actual legitimate scrutiny, because he should be in prison. Excuse me for not recalling his name right now, but yeah, I mean, again, if this were, let's just race reverse. I hate playing this game because it's true. If you were to race reverse both these individuals, this person would be a Chauvin. He'd be in federal prison right now, 100%. Because of the optics of the skin color, that it would be true. For a fact it would be true that this person would be in prison just for that simple change. That's it. All circumstances the same, that the officer would be in prison.
I just wanted to make sure that we backed up the intent behind everything, and that there wasn't any intent on Donald Trump's behalf to take over the United States Capitol. In fact, I think it goes grossly against what their objective was, because of the fact that they were actually bringing forth valid objections. You had the state of Arizona step forward to bring their objection. The other state, I believe, was Pennsylvania. I believe Wisconsin was going to come through to dispute as well, alongside Georgia. So I don't know how they got straight to Donald Trump is, along with the false electors, like he's going to go subvert the false electors that he put there. None of it makes sense. It's a conflicting conspiracy theory, but these people never want to admit that. I'm going to move forward to is she Somali, the girl who was making the threat against Elon Musk?
I'm not entirely sure, but I'd be willing to put at least $10 on it. I'm pretty sure. I'm relatively sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
هذا فور حما إلى ماسك عبس كفور.
When people say like this is fake, I'm like, actually, well, let's look at.
كان هو هيستعلق بس هو هيستعبطوا فور حمية. بس كفور حمية كان. وأدق ودم الربع. I wouldn't worry too much about this one. That الباب يسجوا. I wouldn't worry too much about him. He about to die.
Is he about to what?
He about
to die. First off, the clicking and the clacking makes me nauseous. What the what the hell, man? That not the most elegant language. I'll just put that out there.
Really quick, I want to do a quick shout out. Thank you, Elizabeth, so much. She says, "Thank you for all you do. Wish I could do more." Amazing. Thank you so much. I appreciate the donations, and thank you so much for supporting the live and just being with us tonight. So thank you. I wanted to just point out the fact that one, how does she know that he's gonna unalive? Okay, because that video she brought up was specifically Elon Musk talking about people wanting to unalive him. I don't know if you've seen that clip that she was specifically bringing up.
I have,
It was
yeah.
it was concerns about like how Charlie Kirk got shot and that Elon Musk can't simply just go to like a Target or anywhere else out in public because there are high security concerns that he might be unalived. And so she brings up that video and does her little he's gonna die. And so then it's like break out the violin. She goes into this whole spiel about I didn't mean it in that way. It was
she's the
taken
victim
out of
now.
it's taken out of context. It's always taken out of context, right?
Yeah, she's the victim now. Look at
The
me.
the context
victim
was the context wasn't about like Elon Musk dying, right? It wasn't about that. Certainly not. So here's her wah wah wah. I need my big violin. You all took this out of context.
I'm the victim.
I'm a victim.
Not that I made a direct threat to Elon Musk, but I'm the victim.
Look at me. Look at me.
Look at
I'm
me.
the victim now.
I'm the victim now.
I'm the victim now.
I'm the victim now. Look at me.
The face like says it all, like right off the rip, like I didn't mean to say that.
If you told me a week ago that my name and Elon Musk's
It's-
name are being voiced in the same breath, I wouldn't believe you.
I need
But here I
subtitles.
am today. Hello, if you know who I am, do you know why this video has to be made? On December 31st, 2025, my life took a tragic turn. I was badly misinterpreted.
My life took a tragic turn. I was badly misinterpreted. I don't know if you could hear it because
Ah.
she's like talking in like such a soft voice. The other video, she's like, he's gonna die.
No.
now it's like I didn't mean to say that. It's her voice is so low and soft spoken. Like, girl, please stop.
And misheard on a now viral clip. In this clip, my words and what they are being translated to has been taken greatly out of context. I want to make myself clear. I never intended or even aimed to threaten the life of Elon Musk. I'm not a person that carries around hate. The media and Elon have taken my words completely out of context, and it's been deeply hurtful to watch how
She's
that's turned
reading.
into me being dehumanized and painted as a villain. For context, the
Look
clip
at her
going
eyes.
viral was taken from a longer live segment and edited in a way that removes the heart of what I was trying to say. During that stream, some of my supporters asked me about my thoughts on Elon Musk in relation to his health after viral photos of him in swim shorts surfaced. My intention was to never mock, insult, or be cruel in any way. What I was trying to express came from my personal experience. As a person gets older, health becomes more important, and it is something we should all be taking seriously and treat with care. My message was meant to encourage kindness towards our bodies and towards one another if we want to live a long, luxurious life. Instead, that message was twisted, stripped of its context, and turned into something it was never meant to be. A few people went ahead and asked Elon's AI Grok what it thought about my language in the video. I would display the response here. As you can see, Grok agrees. This is more.
Wait, hang on. Grok says the video features a woman speaking primarily in Somali, mixed with English, based on analysis from multiple sources. Here's a translation summary. She's insulting Elon Musk, calling him ugly old man whose only appeal is money, saying he's out of her league and about to die soon due to his age. The direct English line is, I wouldn't worry too much about him. He's about to die.
There's no evil in her heart, Millie. She would never be negative. She's no evil in her heart. Zero evil. What are we doing? Why you bullying me?
Why you bully me? Why you bully me?
I can't. She just sat there and lied the entire. And she's reading, by the way. You can see her eyes moving. She's reading a script off to the
She's
side
reading
there.
the script. I'm
Yeah.
sure her mom came in and was like, "Get the fuck off the phone. We have all of these people coming after the Somalis, and now you make this stupid ass fucking video of
Yeah,
people coming after."
denaturalize, deport, baby. Denaturalize, deport.
Do we want to hear another minute of her,
Yeah,
appealing to
let's
emotion?
listen. Let's give her. If you get that little cog there, you can turn it up to 1.25 speed so we can cook through this faster. But also, she's talking about health with these chubby ass cheeks. I'm sorry, I didn't. That's rude of me. Okay, go
Oh
ahead.
my God. Listen, she's not look maxing, okay? She's not doing it enough.
Roth agrees. This is more interpreted as dismissive rather than a literal threat. Elon Musk tweeted the same viral video twice. I assume the first time didn't get the reaction he wanted, both hours apart. One where he said, and I quote, "wonderful people," and the most recent time that is currently still pinned at the top of his profile, stating, and I quote, "then it is war." While Somali hate is at an all-time high right now, Elon is a
I
very
wonder
powerful man
why.
with an endless amount of supporters. This will forever be a losing match for me. Elon Musk is coming at me with full force, but I don't remember when I signed up to be a scapegoat, but okay. This tweet has caused me great discomfort. My intentions were to never make Elon Musk uncomfortable.
Stop it.
Okay, so escape is being really abused lately. I don't think people understand what what scapegoat or scapegoat even means. I don't think they understand it at all.
It's
You're
just
not a scapegoat. Okay, you're just a part. You're part of the thing that we're chasing after. The Somali community is proven to be very, very. I'm gonna
Well,
be careful with my words here.
she's
Not good.
she's sitting there like, "I didn't sign up to be a scapegoat." Nobody told you to post that video.
Yeah, you
Nobody
chose.
told you to do that. You decided to do that. This is the
Yeah.
consequences of your own actions. If Elon Musk comments on it,
If I'm
then
not mistaken, it was from a live stream she had posted. She was in, or she was on TikTok.
yeah. Well, somebody clipped it. When the Somali hate is at an all-time high, I don't know, maybe lay low a little bit. Things aren't going so great in the Somali community. America's a little bit pissed off because we have millions of fucking dollars going towards fraud schemes. So I don't
Well,
know.
I think that confirms it though, Millie. I think that confirms your question, or at least answers your question if she's Somali. I think that response right there, referring to the Somali community,
Hate
basically
at
tells us
all-time
she is.
high.
Yeah.
I can't listen to the whining anymore. I really can't. Like, this is
Move on.
I feel I get like post-traumatic stress from all of the liberals that come up and debate me on my live, and they're always just like, it's always feelings. It's always feelings, but they don't care when they're being shitty to other people. They only care when people are being shitty to them.
Well, yeah,
go
they
ahead.
lob racism. The moment you criticize these people, it's racism. That's the part, and we're not buying that shit anymore. And nobody should have bought it to begin with. The whistleblowers in the whole Tim Wall situation, they were told to that they're going to be labeled as racists. It doesn't work anymore, guys. It doesn't. Okay, fraud is fraud. Your skin color has nothing to do with this conversation. What does have to do with this conversation is that Somalis, which by the way is not a race, Somalis have been defrauding the federal government left, right, and center. Their skin color is completely irrelevant. And we're tired of it. We're not going to be bullied anymore. We're over it.
Absolutely. I wanted to show yet another example of the toxic empathy, but when we apply it to like real situations, these people don't actually go along with the policies that they are preaching for. So I thought this was a really funny take. So let's take a look at this.
Trump is banning immigration from Somalia. What are your thoughts about that?
I think it's terrible.
Why?
I just think that there's a lot of bad things going on in Somalia, and we should be taking people in war-torn countries in.
We should be taking them in. Well, we're trying to get people today to sign up to take in a Somali migrant. Would you be able to do that?
I don't know. I'm not sure if I could or not. I don't live in New York.
Well, that's okay. Where do you live?
Massachusetts.
We could send them to Massachusetts if that's all right. Could we get your name, email address, and then how many you'd be able to take in?
I couldn't do that without talking to my husband first. I might be open to it.
You might be open to it?
But I would want to have more information first.
Okay. Could we just get your information?
It's giving Martha's Vineyard.
Why do I love this so much? That these people don't stand on business. She probably lives in a nice gated community, probably 90, 93, 95% fucking white. And these people, these little, oh God, white liberal women, man, I swear to God, these people are a scourge. These are a scourge.
Yes. This is what I'm saying. Every time you test their logic about you want to bring everybody in here, but you don't want them to live with you. You don't want them to be your next door neighbor. You don't want to sponsor them in and bring them in as an immigrant and let them stay with you, but you'll advocate that for everybody else that has to deal with it. That's the problem.
Yeah, you'll drop the illegal immigrant off into a black community who is already having issues and suffering. That's what you claim, at least, right? The black community is not doing super great in these areas, but you're going to put more people in there that will disenfranchise that black community that you cared about last year. You don't care about them now, but you care about them. But you cared about them last year, and you're gonna make their lives harder by dropping up a bunch of illegal immigrants into their communities. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Dan just writes, the two women in the press conference talking about the cuts to Minnesota, then Slip said that they know fraud is bad, then completely stumbled. I can't wait to bring up that clip, and I certainly will during this segment.
Love that. I love that
so
clip.
Funny.
Oh no.
Oh no. But yes, Lynn says, I have to ask my husband, excuse girl, we all know you run the household. Can we just stop right there? Okay. Like, let's be honest.
Just in case
Only because I don't know who you are.
Oh, I'm Matt
Now
Miller.
it's I don't know who you are.
I get that, but I do it through an organization.
Okay. President Trump says he's stopping immigration from Somalia. What are your thoughts about that?
We need immigration as a country. It's insane the arbitrary stops that he's putting in on all these countries.
You think America should accept in third world immigrants? He shouldn't stop it?
We always have. We should.
Yeah.
Let me ask you, we're trying to find people to take in a migrant from Somalia. Would you be able to give us just your email and how many you would like to take?
I wouldn't be available to do that at this time.
I'm not available.
Be available?
No.
No.
I live in Michigan. I can't do that right now.
Okay. I mean, we could send them to Michigan if that's all right. We're just trying to get, you don't want to do it?
Not at this time.
Okay.
Again.
Go ahead.
Again, let's drop them off. Let's drop them off where? Where do they drop most of these people off at? They drop them off in communities that are already struggling.
In Michigan, aren't there Somalis already like in Michigan already?
Of
Like
course.
we could just send them right over to your house. I'm not available for that. What?
Well, these people are morally inconsistent. They have no idea. They're like, yeah, everyone else can take care of them. It's fine with me. And by the way, let's reverse this because we have to take in third worlders. I'm over that. No more third worlders. But if they were saying like Donald Trump wants to bring in a bunch of German refugees. Because I don't know if you've seen the video of the woman being stoned as she's walking through by a bunch of
On New Year's?
New Year's
I
by a
showed
bunch
that
of
one.
Islamic weirdos. Yeah, so if we were to take in a bunch of, because their skin color is white, they would have a problem with that. Because this is just, these people just hate themselves at the end of the day. They really do. They look at themselves in the mirror and they just hate themselves. It's because they've been conditioned to hate themselves. This is a product of CRT right here. That man's face right there, that is CRT. And full front, and the woman prior to him. That's what this is. These people have been convinced that they are evil. And they want us to fix the problem, but they themselves want nothing to do with that solution.
Well, him sitting there saying, I'm not available right now. That's basically the answer of like most Americans that are saying, I don't really want to take anybody else in right now. That's the feeling across America. So let me see. Mr. Tito says, why don't we stop immigration and just fix America? I 100% agree. I think that's where a lot of Americans are at right now is we're kind of tired of like catering to the world and catering to all of the foreigners. I didn't sign up to be the sugar daddy when I pay my taxes. Did you sign up to be sugar daddy with your taxes? I didn't sign up for that. So I think that's kind of where most Americans are sitting right now. Even with this guy, he's like, I'm not available right now. Well, yeah, neither are the rest of us. So where are they going to go? They can't come here.
Well,
You're gonna
I
have to make the best of what you got in your own country.
let me
Go
let me
ahead.
make a point too. These people make it about skin color again. It's all about the amount of melanin in someone's skin. I don't care how much melanin someone is. Right now, we need to put a complete moratorium on immigration entirely. We have a lot of problems to deal with here. We have a bunch of people here who have not assimilated, who do not value, do not share the American values, who refuse to even speak our language. What are we even doing here at this point in time? If we have to deal with the problems we already have now before we take on any more problems, I think we need a complete cutoff at this point in time. A couple months ago, I was for legal immigration, but it's because I was being naive. I wasn't looking at the issue as a whole. And at this point, no, we need to cut it off entirely. I think that we need a complete moratorium, at least for a few years, so we can figure out what's going on here, and we can make sure that the people that have come here are properly assimilating and learning English.
I agree. And Roger says, it's like you said, we can't afford to be the world's baby daddy. We're on the edge of 40 trillion in debt. Okay. We do not have the money to be taking care of everybody else's problems. Like, we can pretend that we have that money. We don't have the money. And ultimately, the people that have to suffer through the amount of debt that we have are American citizens, because these people can go home at any time. They can pick up and leave and go back to where they came from. We're stuck with the debt. Or we have to go immigrate to another country, which I don't want to abandon America. I want to fight for America and what we deserve. But I don't think that any of us deserve skyrocketing inflation and massive amounts of debt to take care of the needs of other countries. I'm just not there right now. But
Completely agree.
so
Completely agree.
100%. And here's the video that we were mentioning earlier about them slipping about the fraud coming out of the mouth. So here we go.
If childcare is cut, I'm unable to work or go to school. I understand fraud is bad.
It was at that moment in time that she knew she fucked up.
She fucked up.
Just look at the
Can you play it back? Can you play that? Can you play it back the last few seconds? Because that just solidifies everything. It solidifies everything. That moment was the nail in the coffin. A little further back. A little further. Keep going back. No, go. I want to hear her say it.
I understand fraud is bad.
Yes.
It's okay. You can admit it.
You can admit that your people have been committing fraud. It's fine. Let's clap. Let's clap.
Get behind the white Karen. She's got your back.
I laugh, but I'm pissed. I'm actually legitimately pissed, man. Billions and billions of unknown billions of dollars, man.
Someone said, look at her ring.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Her ring was worth several thousands of dollars.
Oh my God.
Look at that rock. Look at that.
That is a big rock.
That's a blood diamond right there. That thing was mine.
That's a blood diamond. Stop it. Oh my God.
They're all about it. They're all about the
Jesus.
fraud. They're doubling down.
Yeah, the teardrop cut, I think, isn't actually cheap. Yeah, her 4K ring. I mean, yeah. I don't
Ain't
know.
cheap.
That's crazy.
Something tells me this woman wouldn't accept cubic zirconia. Cuban zirconia. I don't think that she would accept it. I think that's a 100% a real big ass diamond lodged into her finger. I guarantee it.
I mean, the cut is probably like the diamond itself, but the cut of the diamond is also expensive. That teardrop cut, because I've gone to the jewelry store quite a few times with my own rings, and those are very expensive. So then you had Karen stepped up to the plate.
Yes, thank you for having this clip ready. I was about to mention this. I'm like, I hope you have this one too. Yeah.
Karen says, "Hold my beer. I got this." She jumps up to the podium and embarrasses herself too. Let's go.
And I do see some signs over here that say stop fraud, and I agree, stop it. There are wait lists for these programs that are years long. There is fraud,
There's what?
They're not beating the allegations. They're not beating the allegations. This is crazy. This is
One
fucking
more
crazy.
time.
There's
The
law.
allegation.
There is fraud. There is.
If this was meant to convince us that there wasn't fraud at play, like this is a F minus, okay? You failed the assignment.
This is crazy. No childcare, no. By the way,
Stacey is saying the quiet part out loud.
both of them.
Both of them they both stepped up to the plate, and it was just even worse than it was before.
Oh my
So,
god, dude. Just
ugh.
stepping in it. I listen, I love this for them. I love this journey for them. I love it. This woman, by the way, another white liberal woman. Okay, I'm not
Mhm.
gonna go down that rabbit hole. But yet another
Okay, this is a safe
affluent
space.
another another
God.
white affluent liberal woman who's gonna sit up there and white knight for this group of people who has
Mhm.
been defrauding the federal government of at least at this point $9 billion. It's gonna be way worse. It's gonna be much more. This is just the beginning. This is just the start. This is literally the tip of the iceberg. Maybe not even that. Wait until we get to Ohio and California and Massachusetts. Wait till we get there.
Oh,
It's not going to get better. I can tell you that
I
much.
can bet your ass that it's happening in Massachusetts. Did you see what Mayor Wu said about the
Oh yeah.
Somalis? She's
Oh yeah.
like, guys, we just wouldn't have Boston without the Somalis. They only got here like what? 15 years ago?
Yeah, they started really
Boston's
coming
been
in
around since
19
1776. What are we talking
Yeah,
about?
I mean, I don't know where the tea was dropped off, but it wasn't a Somali who kicked the first barrel into the water. I'm just saying, but yeah, what a stupid statement. I believe they starting to migrate here. I want to say it was 1992 is when there was a decent influx of Somali migrants into the U.S.
Well, we let quite a few in under Bill Clinton, but I think we did like a major expansion under Obama, if I'm not mistaken. Like he
Of
let
course.
quite a people in. So this was touching base on one of the hearings that they had in Minnesota in regards to the amount of fraud that was going on and these Somali daycares.
Situation in my home state of Minnesota where we've got a number of daycare providers that are openly violating federal and state laws and regulations, taking money for personal use, using the money to set up a fraudulent child care client, and then providing a kickback has been reported. This is a major issue. There are allegations that, well, not just several, you've got 23 child care or daycare centers either closed or under investigation. The fraud may go as high as $100 million. Now think about that. In fiscal year 2018, Minnesota received $120 million in federal funding. The state contributed about $50 million in matching and maintenance funds. And we may have a fraud case of nearly $100 million in this state, with money then being transferred out of the country via MSP Airport. This is a big issue in my home state of Minnesota. Can you share with me what your agency is doing to investigate this? And I'm just wondering if we could not come up with some form of stricter enforcement to monitor the states that are receiving these funds to make certain that there's some sort of oversight here. Thank you for your testimony today.
I don't know. I don't think there's any oversight. And I think when we heard from the like local committee in Minnesota that had been holding hearings about this, they asked what guardrails were in place to make sure that these practices weren't taking place. And the response from the Tim Walz administration was, well, Medicaid is kind of like a trust-based system. We kind of just like rely on people reporting that something's going on. What?
That's crazy. By the way, that a trust-based system on your tax dollars, guys. Democrats, how comfortable could you possibly be with that? I don't understand this. Like, I understand. I get it. You don't like the Orange Man. Orange Man bad. The Republicans bad. But can we all agree there should be some sort of checks and balances on who the hell is receiving these benefits? Can we not agree on that? That maybe this should be properly documented? I don't. If we can't agree on that, I don't know how much we can possibly agree on. Okay, these are systems. These are systems that are paid for by your money, guys. Your money, my money, everyone's money. That's where this money's. That's where the money's coming from. Is from you. If we can't agree on that, that's crazy.
It makes sense why the Democrats were pushing back so hard on Doge coming into place. It makes so much sense. They did not want the rug to be pulled up. They were like, no, you can't look at this shit. The Somalian civil war was in 91, 100%. I wanted to pull up this comment because we're all dying for the classic finger point. Two best streamers out there, finger point, finger point.
Wait. I got the right camera for this one. Yeah. I got that. I got you, bro. I got you.
Side angle. Let's go. That's that look maxing to the extreme. But the White House, so the council that we just heard from said that it was looking almost about $100 million in fraud. But the White House put this out. They said over $1 billion in fraud targeting Minnesota taxpayers. Multiple federal programs exploited across food, healthcare, housing, and autism services.
Autism services. That's probably the most. I mean, we talk about food and we talk about Medicaid, but man, I listened to the autism community. It's big. It's a big community out there, and they take this shit very seriously. And a lot of those people who are a part of that community are, from my understanding, and maybe I'm misreading the community, but a lot of them do tend to lean left. A lot of them are not saying all, but I think a large portion of that community does lean left. And this should be a giant. They're just spitting in the face of these people. They're just literally spitting in the face of their own constituents. Hard.
Well,
what are they saying? What is the autism community, these major autism communities on X and everything else? What are they saying? I haven't seen anything. They've been very quiet, haven't they?
Well, I'll tell you this because I've spent a long amount of time in the autism community. Prior to becoming a political commentator, I spent like over a year in autism TikTok. The biggest issue that people have in the autism community is that they cannot get SSI. Like many parents had to apply multiple times, at least 3 times to get SSI for their child because their child is disabled. They can't go to work because they're taking care of their adult autistic child. I mean, they're not a child anymore, but it's essentially caring for a child because they cannot care for themselves on their own. So they need assistance and financial assistance to take care of them for lifelong periods of time. And so people were having a hard time getting funding and services. And now that makes it even harder because now we have to look at whether or not the people that are applying for that are trying to defraud the system. So unfortunately.
Think about all that money. Think about all that money that could have gone to helping these people just out the window in the pockets of God knows who at this point in time. The directly into Somalia. I mean, into a terrorist organization, Al Shabaab. I mean, we know that's been happening. Well, we don't know exactly. We're still tracking the money, but I feel pretty confident on where that money is going. We talk about the 9 billion. What is the GDP of Somalia? 10 billion, I believe it is.
I think
10,
it's actually 11? I think it's about 12, actually 12 billion.
So 12. Okay. So if it's 9, just at the lowest number at this point in time, 9. So 9, it's building up. It's going to be worse. I promise you. It's not going to get better. No, talking about, oops, we accidentally, no, it's not going to happen. It's going to be much worse than people actually think it is. But 9 to 12 billion, right? So 9 billion stolen, 9 billion defrauded. And we have a country with a GDP of 12. Okay. That's more than half. Okay. That's way more than half. That's a lot of money.
And so that representative that we were just listening to before I bring this guy who's about to talk about Keith Ellison, who is the Attorney General of the state, he said specifically that they had caught the fraud going out of the country. But my other question is it coming back in? Okay, because what clicks to me is money laundering. Okay, we're sending it out and then we're bringing it back in. And then it's going into somebody else's pocket. You said that's what I want to double check to make sure that that's not what's going on. But Keith Ellison, they had referenced him during this hearing about whether or not his campaign was receiving money from these people. So
audio recordings reveal conversations that happened between the Attorney General and individuals who were later implicated and in some cases convicted in the Feeding Our Future scandal. In those recordings, the Attorney General...
Point of order, Master Speaker.
State your point of order.
Since 124, paragraph 1, in debate, members must confine remarks to questions before the body and avoid personalities. The debate here is not any individual. It is the policy and the amendment.
Representative Niska.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Attorney General was asked in those recordings to use his authority to protect businesses under investigation for wrongdoing, and rather than distance himself or remain neutral to allow the legal process to unfold, he responded in those recordings, "Of course, I'm here to help."
Mr. Speaker, point of parliamentary inquiry.
State your point of parliamentary inquiry.
Mr. Speaker, there was a point of order, and I didn't hear a ruling or any resolution of the point of order. Was there a resolution to it?
White liberal woman.
Karen.
I'll remind the body that there was no ruling made by the speaker as to the point of order that was just stated. Representative Niska.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
In other words, bitch, shut up. Go ahead.
The Attorney General in those recordings even urged the individuals, let's go fight these people. He was offered campaign contributions during that meeting, contributions that he later accepted. The release of those audio recordings raises questions about what's going on in the Attorney General's office that go directly to the need to pass the legislation that we had previously debated, House File 20. Although he has insisted that nothing came of the meeting, his office
Point of order, Mr.
blocks
Speaker.
disclosure of closed investigative
point of
data.
order.
Since 124.
The A11 will help ensure that.
Oh my God.
I guarantee during this entire man speech, which all he's doing is quoting Keith Ellison, who is the Minnesota Attorney General. It's just point of order, point of order, point of order, because they don't want you to hear what this man has to say about his own quotes, which is that he was receiving certain campaign contributions from some of these groups.
Point of order, Millie. Point of order, Millie. What are we having for lunch today? What do we have at lunch for today? Quiznos? No, I don't accept that. I don't accept Quiznos. I don't accept that. Anyways,
You're not allowed to talk about the Somali fraud. That's essentially what it's gotten down to. Everyone's in their fifis about it. But at the end of the day, if you are committing fraud and you're taking money from fraudulent individuals, fuck you. Sorry, you should be out of office. It should be a done deal.
all right, Amelia, you're gonna have to filibuster for a second because
I have plenty to go over. Don't you worry.
Perfect. I'll be back in 2 seconds.
Don't you worry. Go ahead. All right. So I wanted to touch base really quickly on Habibi Hakeem Jeffries himself, talking about essentially Donald Trump's health concerns. They seem to think that Donald Trump has got some kind of health issue going on, which is really wild, after they said Joe Biden, who has stage 4 ass cancer, prostate, but, same thing. After all of that, saying he was perfectly fine, we find out that Joe Biden has cancer. All of a sudden, these people are concerned about Donald Trump's health. This is just gaslighting at the largest degree.
Well, to that end, James Comer had this investigation into the Biden auto pen, into Biden's cognitive abilities. Is this an investigation you all can pursue potentially next year into President Trump's health?
Well, I think it's something that James Comer needs to answer for. Listen, at the end of the day, he spent all of this time obsessed. He's still obsessed with Joe Biden, right? Meanwhile, the president has failed to deliver on every single promise that he made to make life more affordable. Seems to be checked out as it relates to, the day-to-day engaging in the people's business. And yet we hear nothing but crickets from James Comer. So I listen, I think that Robert Garcia and the oversight Democrats have done a very good job, particularly as it relates to the Epstein files, of pushing the Comer committee to actually be forced into doing the right thing. And so I don't believe that this is something that should wait until the American people give Democrats the majority in the aftermath of the November election later on this year. I think that it's something that James Comer, if he's actually being honest about Congress being a separate and co-equal branch of government, we don't work for Donald Trump. We don't work for J.D. Vance. We don't work for their billionaire donors. We work for the American people. And Congress, in its role as a separate and co-equal branch of government, should make sure that the administration comes clean as it relates to the president's ability to continue to do the job at the level that the American people deserve.
absolutely fucking ridiculous. You had a president who just recently came out and couldn't even say America. Just sink that in for a minute. We had a president who can't say the word America. He tries to say the word America. And
How do you say it? How do you say it again?
America got it. Hang on, let me see if I got it one more time.
Oh, God, yeah,
It never gets old.
I think what he was trying to say, and I'm not trying to defend. You know what? I'm not going to defend him. I'm done. No, I'm not defending him.
I don't know how you could try to defend this.
Well, I was gonna say maybe he was so hyped up that he was America's got it or America's something like that, But I'm not going to give him any sort of grace. Fuck this guy.
Okay, he was definitely trying to say we're the United States of America. Got it? It's like,
yeah.
Remember Borat, where they were going over this suit is black knot.
Yeah.
That's what we were dealing with our own fucking president of the United States.
But I'm not going to give him. I'm not going to give him that. I'm not going to give him that, Millie. He fucked up. We're nice people. You and I, we're nice people. We're so nice.
We're the United States of America. That's who we are. We're the U.S. We're the.
Not only that, but there was multiple times in this speech where he was talking, and then just in the middle of his sentence was like, anyway. It just completely drops the whole thing he was talking about. And I'm like, this man was our president for 4 years. We told you something was wrong with him. You realized it while on the campaign trail because he got his ass handed to him by Donald Trump in the middle of a fucking debate where Donald Trump turns to him and he's like, do you even know what you just said? And he
I don't even know what he said.
He's like, into the abyss.
He's like, I don't even know what he said. I don't know what he just said. I don't think he knows what he just said either. And then it shows his face just like
he's just off in the distance. He's recalling the Titanic going under the water. That's the vibe that I was getting. But
yeah. He teleported to a different timeline 100%.
Well, speaking of Habibi Hakeem and their healthcare policies, I just wanted to point out, because I'm pretty sure we're going to have yet again another government shutdown in regards to the ACA subsidies. Right here, Habibi Hakeem puts out far right. Hang on, let me just whoop, whoop, whoop. There we go. Far right wing extremists have recklessly let the Affordable Care Act tax credits expire. House Democrats will advance bipartisan legislation on the floor next week to restore healthcare affordabilities for millions of Americans, for millions of everyday Americans. How many House Republicans will join us?
Bipartisan. You just said it was bipartisan. If it was bipartisan, you would know how many fucking the people on the other side would join you, dumbass. That it's not bipartisan. That's not how bipartisan works.
They always call something bipartisan when they know for a fucking fact it's not bipartisan. And that's why I literally pulled up the quote unquote bipartisan border bill. Don't get me started on it because I'll go down the rabbit hole. But that shit wasn't bipartisan either. You can secure a single vote or a single co-sponsor and you're claiming that this is bipartisan. But I just wanted to show that right here, the Affordable Care Act subsidies, Section 12001, the act extends through 2025. They legislated it that way.
Yes.
And they legislated it as well through the American Rescue Plan.
I have talked about this at nauseum. They put an end date to it because they wanted something to argue on later. They don't care about any of this shit. All they care about is maintaining power, and then they weaponize these types of programs. They could have made it permanent right then and there, but they put a sunset clause in because they knew they
want something to campaign on. That's what it comes down to.
Well, it's the same thing with the child cancer research back during the initial when Trump took office, and Chuck Schumer was complaining how the Republicans want to get rid of child cancer research when they themselves are the one who put the sunset clause in on it. And so what they did is they separated from the big beautiful bill and passed it separately. These people don't care about your child's cancer. They don't care about the the ACA. They care about talking points that they can use in the future. And listen, the GOP is just as guilty about this as well. When we talk about the no tax on tips, no tax on overtime stuff, that has sunset clause in it as well. But the difference I see is with the sunset clause on those particular things is this is a trial run. Okay, this is very unique in itself, right? The ACA has been around since what, 2013, 2014? I can't remember the exact year. But so the no tax on tips. Yeah, so the no tax on tips and no tax on overtime, putting a sunset clause on that makes complete sense because they need to see how it operates. How does it affect everything? Okay, so and then it goes, well, this isn't working as well as we thought, or it's working better than we thought. So let's extend it and let's actually increase that max amount, that 12,500 or that 25,000, whichever one we're talking about here. I accept it for a trial run. I accept it to see how does this go for 4 years. How does it go for 4 years? And if it's good, we keep it going. If it's bad, we dump it. But the ACA has been in limbo essentially since 2013. That's crazy to me. So it's a false equivalency. I understand that, but I understand it to some degree. Having a sunset clause makes sense, but not with the ACA. The Democrats obviously weaponized this. They put this date in because they knew they can use it as a talking point in the future. That's it. That's a
100%. And I've said this, and I'll say it one more time before I move on, is that the Affordable Care Act never made healthcare affordable. It only got more expensive. And here we are today in 2025. We passed this in 2013. Here we are in 2025, still saying that healthcare is not affordable. So the Affordable Care Act is a failure. The Democratic Party won't admit it's a failure. And that's what we need from the Democratic Party. And you guys have to just understand that you took an L on this whole entire movement and it's not working. So we need to go back to the drawing board, stop using subsidies to uphold big pharma. It's not working. And these people are continuing to raise their prices while being uplifted by the federal government with federal taxpayer dollars. So,
and insurance companies, Millie. These are the same group of people who bitch about the multi-billionaires out of these insurance companies, and they're advocating for the ACA to remain. You're advocating for billionaires to become even more rich. Like the inconsistencies is it's mind-boggling to me. I won't somebody please think of the billionaires and then literally 5 minutes later tax the rich? Aren't you? You guys are the left is so unintelligent. It is painful. It is painful.
Well, it's all they want to do is just continue to say that the billionaires and the millionaires need to come through. They need to pay for all of our things. And that's what's going to make life easier. And I've said it and I'll say it again. Even if you take everybody's wealth right now, we just confiscate everybody's wealth, we're all at an even playing field. The people who were at the top will end up right back up at the top because they know how to invest. They know how to play the game of capitalism. The people at the bottom don't know how to play the game. And so it's like playing poker. If you have no fucking strategy to poker, you're not going to win the game. You're never going to play and win against an advanced player. So the best thing to do is to educate yourself to become an advanced player. And that's what we need. Unfortunately, people are too lazy. They're too busy watching bullshit on Netflix. And if you got off Netflix and actually picked up a book and read, maybe you would know how to play the game of capitalism and you would have less shit to bitch about.
Well, they're banking on the lack of financial literacy. That's what that's just a fact. And you're absolutely correct. The money will go right back to the same people in a very short period of time, 5 years max. At least most of the money within 5 years, and all of the money in 10 years. Because the people who are at the top are not at the top because of just sheer luck. They're at the top because they know how to operate in the system. They know the ins, the outs, the ups, the downs, everything. They know everything about the system, and they know how to weaponize it or utilize it rather to their benefits. And they will just turn around and do the same thing and take all their money back and put everyone who was poor will just become poor again because of their own financial literacy, their unwillingness to actually educate themselves.
100%. But liberals will still go out on mainstream media, just like this lovely blonde bombshell right here goes out and says really silly things like we just got to tax the rich. The rich already cover all of the overhead. The bottom 50% and under only cover 3% of the overhead. The median income. So people making $81,000 or $83,000 and under cover 3% of the overhead. The rich and the wealthy are already covering the expenses. But what you're asking for is, I want more social safety nets. I need more luxury in my life. And if I can't get that, then we're just going to have to tax the rich more so that I can get that. I don't understand why the people who are successful have to pay for everybody else underneath that can't figure out how to play the game. And honestly, it's just people say like, oh, stop defending billionaires. I'm defending a system that does not lead us towards a socialist economy where it has failed every single time. That's all.
Well, I'm not defending necessarily that. I am defending that, but I'm also defending the hopes and the dreams of becoming so financially stable that the cost of things aren't really relevant. The fact that you can just go and get something that you need, buy the gas, and you don't even look at the price. The just knowing that it's possible, that knowing that there's an inkling, there's a light at the end of the tunnel, there's a possibility that you can achieve that, you can become something so incredible, so predominant. No matter what it may be, whether maybe you're an inventor or what have you, it doesn't really matter. But that there's an opportunity becoming essentially, I wouldn't say king, but essentially so financially stable that you are securing the financial well-being of not just the current generation you will have now, but your kids and your kids' kids. That type of drive motivates people to innovate, to create, to develop. And when you put somebody in a socialist or a communist type of society, there is no desire, because there's no actual benefit of having those aspirations, because you're at a wall, because everyone because of equity, you're going to run into the same wall. No matter where you're at, no matter what position you have, there is no incentive of being innovative. There's no incentive of being imaginative or creating something new at all. Zero.
100%. And I pulled up this comment from Stinky that says welfare culture, and I feel like that's where we're at. It was a mistake to create some of these huge social safety programs, because now essentially you've done is created a permanent poverty class. Now people don't want to come out of the social safety net. So I agree that some social safety nets are needed because of things that are way beyond people's control, like you become disabled or you have somebody in your family who is disabled, they need assistance. I'm fine with that. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the falling on hard times and then just staying in the social safety net, staying on EBT and all of that stuff, I'm so sorry. That needs to have time limits, and you have to go back out and be productive like everybody else in society. We all pay our taxes. Everybody has to work. That is the system, and that's the way it's designed. So even in communism, and what these people don't understand, in communism, you have to work too. There's no situation in socialism or communism where you don't work. They have labor camps, in fact, for the people that don't want to work. It's called a gulag.
Well, that's why that's why there's a stepping stone between socialism into communism, is that you get collectively people start to fall off and stop trying to participate, because they realize their participation is completely irrelevant. And then communism starts to take form, and now your participation is not up to you. You will participate. You don't have a choice. Here's your job. 100%. Take your ticket, go to your job. That's what it turns into. That's why when we talk about socialism, it is the next inevitable step is communism. That's just how it is. And you won't get to choose what you do for a living. You will be selected.
100%. I'm going to play this clip really quick because it just doesn't get better than this.
So there's nothing to this Capitol flight.
They've done this as
I'm
against the fact that we don't have more.
What is the number that makes you too rich?
That is not that's not for me to decide. I want to raise taxes on the wealthy and percentages. The top 1%. The top 1%.
It's when you look at the problems in your state and you determine we need X amount of money, and so you go after the person when you can say, well, we can justify this under 5%.
What we need is more opportunity
the billionaire
for people
defense
to be able to get rich
here.
like these other guys. What we don't have is the ability for people to make as much money.
Put me down for pro-capitalism.
We've been pulling. I'm pro-capitalism too. I want more capitalism in more places that doesn't already exist. I want more capitalism in urban communities where kids are trying to build companies.
So there's.
What about a thousandaire? What if a thousandaire was considered rich? Because that's the inevitable outcome. Whoever has $1,000 now is considered rich. It's completely relative. So her misunderstanding of, or not misunderstanding, but her lack of understanding of what number is too much money or too many numbers. It's completely relative. So even in a communist society, somebody who's making just slightly more will be perceived as that 1%. That 1% is relative. Okay. So if somebody's making $1,000 a week, another person's making, I don't know, $700 a week, that person who's making $1,000 a week is now considered the 1%. The logical outcome or the actual outcome of her thinking is that everyone is making the exact same no matter what it is they're doing, and there's nobody's benefiting, nobody's getting, and this will stifle innovation. This is the issue I have with communism just in general. They're completely anti-human. They want to regress. It's not about progressing in any way, shape, or form. It's about regressing back into the most formulaic, most baseline, simpleton type of society, and it's just not going to happen. Humans will not function that way. They don't. We don't function in a state of being at a standstill. We want that adversity. We want to struggle, knowing that, or hopefully knowing that there is some sort of benefit at the end of the road. If you don't give humans that, humans have no motivation to carry on, and that's why we saw a bunch of famine. We saw hundreds of millions of people die underneath communism.
100%. Mind Your Business says we all have the same opportunity to become filthy rich by figuring out how to get there and what to and what not to invest in, etc. 100% agreed. And I think on the subject of incentivization for labor, I think we had a conversation with a communist not too long ago on your panel where we talked about, in communism, what is the incentive to work? And he always reverted back to, well, you just work into a field that you like and enjoy doing. Well, not a lot of people enjoy doing underwater welding. Not a lot of people enjoy doing plumbing. Not a lot of people enjoy doing like extraneous hard labor jobs. Not everybody enjoys doing these certain types of labor activities, but they do it simply because it makes them a lot of money. Like air traffic control. They have a massive amount of stress on their plate, but they get paid a massive amount of money to do their job, even though it comes with a very high rate of thoughts of unaliving. People still show up and do the job. Why? Because they get paid to do it. That's the incentive, is to make money. People just don't do things because they wake up in the morning and they feel great about themselves. A hobby would be what that would be falling under, but not a career.
I will argue this, Millie, and this is something I don't think a lot of people think about, and I'm not saying I'm unique in this thinking, but a job like air traffic control, would air traffic control even be a job had capitalism never existed? Would the civilization ever advance to a level where we need air traffic control had communism actually took complete root back in the 1930s, 1920s? Would we have gotten to a point?
You wouldn't have the airplane without capitalism.
Right. Again, this goes,
the
innovation would never have happened. The development of these types of products or these types of jobs would have never come forward because again, communism completely stifles innovation to begin with. So I would argue that these types of jobs that we're talking about probably would never have existed to begin at all. We probably wouldn't even have planes, let alone space shuttles, fighter jets, and what have you. These types of, or your smartphone, these
I don't
things
think we even have commercial planes.
These communists love hopping on these cell phones, but this technology definitely would not exist had it not been for capitalist endeavors. And if communism actually taken root, we'd be lucky to have a rotary phone in 2026.
Or a touchscreen. You likely wouldn't have anything that's just touchscreen just because. I'm so glad you brought up air traffic control because that brings us to our next segment. All right. This has to be like the liberal crash out of the year. So take a look at this.
For Denver, you have C1 to C30. You can start lining up.
I didn't think you was a pussy from the UK, nigga. You from the UK, bitch. Ain't no getting over here, no bitch. I'll smack you too, bitch. I'll smack your ass too, bitch.
Talk about I'm gonna smack the person who is in charge of whether or not you get your flight.
Then what? The fuck get me arrested gonna do for you? But me smack your bitch ass. The fuck you gonna do? But me smack your bitch ass.
That's the joke.
I don't give a fuck.
I don't know.
Turn around and say me. This counter ain't saving you. Bitch ass. This counter ain't saving you. This counter ain't
This guy should write a book on how to end up on the no-fly list.
His hair is so heavy. It's reducing his capability of thinking clearly. Scared. You're threatening a woman.
I just want to know why it took TSA so long to get there.
Go over there.
Look at this beta bitch in the back, basically standing behind the woman that he's trying to engage with, and then he steps forward after the man steps away.
I've been here since 5:30. I've been in the 17 motherfucking different counties. Nigga, what's up?
Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Not the Karen behind the phone.
Dude, sit.
Yeah.
Bro, you motherfucking stand in your stance, nigga. You wanna fight? You wanna fight, nigga? I didn't have nothing to protect myself against. I've been here since 5:30, nigga. I don't give a fuck, nigga. Nigga, hey, where did you come from? Why did you get your business in mind? Why did you put your business in mind?
Drunk or something.
Why do they always pull up their pants like that? Like, what is pulling up your pants gonna do?
I don't know, but look at that. He's Steve Urkeling. Those things are like high waters at this point. I mean, that shit's over. That shit's in the middle of his shins.
Like this guy obviously isn't equipped for this because this is peacock syndrome. Okay, I'm gonna flex my appearance, and I'm gonna present myself as if I'm bigger than I'm actually am. And this guy falls for it. He backs down, but the other guy that jumps in afterwards, he ain't backing down. Why? Because that guy ends up being an Navy
this
SEAL.
guy here voted for this type of behavior. Let's make that clear.
I don't know. He's got an American flag shirt going on.
That
so
doesn't
maybe
that
not.
doesn't mean anything, Millie.
Okay,
Come
but
on,
the
come
fanny pack, okay, that's not look maxing, okay.
That's not look
Shut up.
Or what, bitch? Or what? You goofy ass.
I can't wait to see you get arrested.
Look how quick this man backs down, okay? So this guy,
That's an old man.
This guy is like, I've been around this block. And look how quick he backs up. Just really quick. Just watch it.
Oh yeah, you're drunk or something. You're making it people's business. Shut up.
Or what, bitch? Or what? You goofy ass.
I can't wait to see you get arrested.
Look at
him back up. Look at him back up.
I'm gonna take him down. My husband was a CO. He's gonna take him down. I know.
That's that lady's husband. He said, or what, bitch? And her husband gets the fuck up and goes, all right.
Call my wife a bitch.
And she's like, it's okay. My husband's a Navy SEAL. He's got this.
This is great.
She's like, this is great. She's going to get out her popcorn.
Charlie.
You know what's crazy though?
What?
Had that man struck him right there when he walked up initially.
Charlie. Charlie.
So when I grab him, right? Y'all don't
See, he put his hands on him. This guy literally had his hands on him. You want to know what he did? Nothing.
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 But here's the thing: had something had broken out, the Democrats that we see, the predominant Democrats, would have played the video from the moment the initial the physical striking would have happened, and they would have called this man a racist. They would have got his name, found his employer, or found out where he lived. He would have had an inbox full of death threats. That's exactly what would have happened. That I'm telling you right now, that I mean, we see it time and time again. We see clips taken completely out of context because usually when the camera phone is picked up and the video starts, it's already began. We have no idea what led up to it. For all we know, it could have been the complete opposite. But the damage is done, and that's what would have happened. Absolutely, that would have been cut 100%.
Well, so he ends up getting arrested. TSA finally show up and they literally drag his ass. And I believe his pants were down, by the way, on his way out.
You pull him
up? Listen, I don't know. The man was missing a belt, but let me see if they have the footage of him.
Let's get a GoFundMe for this man's belt.
Yeah, this man literally needed a belt. Yeah, this is him getting dragged out by TSA. And then I have another story about a Navy SEAL just here in a second. Here's him getting dragged out.
course you ain't gonna pull my pants up, but you gonna tell me I'm sad.
You shouldn't be putting yourself in a situation where your pants are dropping that low to begin with, dog. What are you talking about? That you made a choice that morning, and those are the pants you chose to put on.
He's like, my pants are falling down. My pants are falling down, bro.
Yeah, we all make choices, man. We all make choices. I choose to buy pants that actually fit me, and if they are slightly off, I put a belt on. I'm just saying, we all have choices to make, and you made a choice to wear those pants. I mean, that's where you're at. This is the end of your reasoning that morning when you put those pants on.
I'm telling you, like, I don't know how this guy was ever going to fight someone to begin with, because mid-fight, your trousers are going to be at your fucking ankles and you're going to be tripping over yourself.
Yeah.
So you were never prepared for that interaction to begin with. So speaking of Navy SEALs, we have the person who is actually running against Thomas Massie for his seat in Kentucky. So Thomas Massie's Trump-backed challenger, Ed Galrain, raised $1.2 million for Q4. Per Galrain's spokesperson, Lance Trover, this fundraising number reflects the overwhelming support Ed's campaign has received right out the gate. President Trump endorsed Ed because he knows Ed is fighting to put America first and will partner with him to unleash our economy, lower taxes, and stop the woke agenda. The fact that a 7-time incumbent highest quarterly fundraising amount for Q3 is $767,000, while his challenger is already raising nearly double that amount from the gate, is not a good sign for Massie. Grassroots movement defeat Massie is getting started, but this man is also a former Navy SEAL. So I wanted to show you, because this is who we're going to have to show up in support for. He will be up for this seat in the midterm, so just letting you guys know. I'm going to show you his campaign site really quickly, because like I said, we have a bunch of special elections that are coming up soon, but we also need to focus on who we're going to be supporting for the midterms, even getting people out that are already in, even if they're Republicans. So if they're Republicans that are not helping put forth Donald Trump's agenda and they keep voting against the policies that we need to put in place, they need to go. Okay. So this is his campaign website. He is a former Navy SEAL. And he goes into the fact that Thomas Massie is holding up the president's agenda. I think I absolutely agree with that. It seems like he's going to be focusing on agriculture. So farm strong, SEAL tough, America first. Born and raised in Kentucky, Ed Galrain is a 5th-generation farmer whose family has worked the land for over a century. Inspired by President Ronald Reagan, Ed chose a life of service by becoming a Navy SEAL officer, serving for 3 decades in uniform. He rose to the rank of captain, served multiple times on SEAL Team 6. Oh, shit.
Team 6.
Shit, this guy is a fucking badass.
God damn. That's crazy.
Damn, dude, he's on Team 6. All right. Deploying in Panama, Afghanistan, Iraq, and earned 4 Bronze Stars, including the Combat Parachute Badge for leadership in actions in combat zone, along with 2 presidential unit citations for his unit's extraordinary heroism against an armed enemy. And this is the man that's going up for Thomas Massie's seat. And if I am going to remind you, and I think I've shown this on my regular live stream on TikTok, is that Thomas Massie is literally out there begging for funds. He's like, we have 2 days, guys. We have 2 days. Like, we have to make this deadline. I need everybody to donate. Like, this man got totally fucking served on a platter for the fact that he said he was going to say the names of the perpetrators in the Epstein files, and he fucking did not. Okay. And Marjorie Taylor Greene said she was going to do it too, and she's on her way out the door in 3 days. Did we get the names from Marjorie Taylor Greene? Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, and listen, I understand the appeal to Massie. He says a lot. He's smooth with some of his talking in the past, but I think this is completely exposed him for what he really is. I think that I don't think he has any interest other than his own. I think he just cares about his own movement forward. And I hope he loses. I can't say he will. I mean, he's got a good position. Everyone. I mean, I don't know about if the amount of money is really necessary for him to win, but I will say, I really hope he loses, because he's holding up the president's agenda here. He's single-handed, well, not
Yes.
single-handedly, along with Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Ron Paul also does it as
Ron Paul,
well. I swear Ron Paul just shows up and votes no on everything. I swear.
He does. He does. And his excuses are very elementary. They're very second grade level of thinking skills. It's very interesting. I don't know why. Again, I mean, he's in a stronghold though, much like Massey in terms of Republicans. He is in a stronghold, but when a Republican challenges him, it makes things interesting. Like if a Democrat were to challenge AOC, that would be interesting, right? Because that is obviously a blue stronghold. So
100%. On top of officials that are running in 2026, Mike Lindell, the My Pillow guy, is running for governor in Minnesota. So he wants to take Tim Walz's position. So he writes, I am running for governor to restore truth, transparency, and leadership to our great state on Minnesota. We've seen the damage of radical policies, rising crimes, failing schools, and corrupt elections. Enough is enough. This campaign is fueled by Minnesotans, real Minnesotans, not lobbyists or party insiders. If you are ready to secure our support, law enforcement, secure elections, lower taxes, and protect our freedoms, donate here. Together, we can take our state back and build a future we're proud of. Mike Lindell, candidate for governor of Minnesota.
Not to get this to the specifics, I think that really anyone who's going to go after Walz's job is basically has a good chance. When you look at
Depends
Walz,
on how many Somalis you can bring to the ballot box.
that's a good point. That is a good point. But there are a lot of people, a lot of Black Americans, particularly in that area. I don't know what their voter base is. I have no idea how many are Black Americans that are not connected to Somalia or Somalians. They're seeing their own communities being completely tarnished and destroyed and they're being pushed out. They're being replaced in a way. Their vote is no longer, because they see that the Black communities, especially in these Democrat cities, that people are starting to understand what the Democrats are doing to their communities. Nothing, not doing shit. So why not fly in a bunch of immigrants from God knows where and replace these people because the Black community is now waking up. Look at the vote. Not that Donald Trump got the majority of Black vote, but it was significant compared to any other Republican running for president. Okay, it was significant. A lot of the Black community
Is waking
in
up.
particular is waking up to the fact that the Democrats do not have their best interests in mind. They're waking up to seeing that the rhetoric has been bullshit. Donald Trump he's not a fascist, he's not a Nazi, he's not Schmittler or Hitler. We're on YouTube. He's not. And they're waking up to it. They're seeing that this is all bullshit, and that they go to bed one night and they wake up and there's a bunch of Somali immigrants in their communities, and they're like, what the fuck just happened? What's going on? What happened to us? What happened to our needs? Now you guys are going to take care of them? What about us? You guys promised us that you're going to take care of us, but you're not. You're taking care of a bunch of Somalis. What is happening here?
And the Democratic Party, like I said, the second that they realize that all they have to do is just import voters in here, we just bring people in, we get them a driver's license, and oops, accidentally they got registered to vote. They don't need to cater to the Black community anymore. They don't need to uphold the Black community and their interests because they've already made use of them, and then they discard them because they don't need their vote anymore. I can just bring as many people as I want. I don't need to appeal to Black Americans anymore. I have a bunch of Somalis that are coming in by the hundreds of thousands, and they can get dropped off in my city, and I'll secure elections for as long as I need to in my local area. I don't have to focus on anything else. And I think a lot of the Black community is waking up to the fact that they got duped by the Democratic Party. And even Malcolm X had warned everybody about this. They said at least that the Republicans are open about what their beliefs are. The Democratic Party and the Democrats and the liberals will lie to your face, but they're actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. This is 100% what they are. I think he said they were actually a fox. If I get that.
Well, I mean,
correct.
he was a Marxist, so I don't like to quote everything he says, but he's correct in that way. I mean, even the worst of people are correct at least every so often. He was correct in that analysis of the liberals or the Democrats. And the Democrats are recognizing it now. they're trying to well, first off, I think they recognized it a while ago. They recognize that they're losing their grips on the Black community or on any minority community who's been in the US for many generations. They're losing their grips, and so they have to introduce a new. And this is the thing, which I talked about this the other day, the idea of the Great Replacement theory. Guys, the Great Replacement theory wasn't just about white people. The Great Replacement theory had to do with every American, whether you're Black, Asian, whatever. The Great Replacement theory is not about white people. It's about Americans. It's about replacing Americans, and that's what they've been doing. It's not about race necessarily. It's about Americans being replaced in changing the voter blocks. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with your skin color.
So I have the quote from Malcolm X. It says, "The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful than the conservative. The liberal is more hypocritical than the conservative. Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the," I'm not going to say the N word because he says kind of like a 70s term, but I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to say that the Black community's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship, allegiance, and support of the Black community, the white liberal is able to use the Black community as a pawn or a tool in its political football game. And that is consistently raging between white liberals and white conservatives. So that was his quote.
Well, now that the Democrats have convinced the Black community to perform abortions on all of their children, and the population percentage only being around between 13 and 14%, which would be much higher if all these abortions weren't happening. They've been told that this is what you need to do. I mean, I'm not going to get down that whole rabbit hole, but
I wish they understood that. I wish they understood, because they always call us racist. And I'm like, we're the ones who are advocating against abortions. Abortions per the community affect Black babies the most. We're the ones advocating here to save those children.
We're
So
racist,
there
though.
would be more diversity.
Connect that dot. How are we
We're
racist when we're
racist.
advocating for Black babies to actually be born? More Black people in this country, but somehow we're fucking racist. What are you talking about? How can I possibly be racist if I'm saying we need Black moms to have their kids? Connect that dot for me, please.
But they've brainwashed them into thinking it's a good thing. It's a good thing that we kill these children, because they're not really babies. You're not a baby until you're born. So it doesn't matter about the life you were going to be. And so my problem is that I'm sick and tired of being called racist and all of this bullshit. If we would stop aborting all of these babies, we would have way more diversity in the country. And I'm glad to see that people are starting to wake up now and realize that, because we would actually be more diverse. But I'm going to finish this Mike Lindell clip, and then I have a couple other things before we end the show.
It has to happen now. It has to happen fast. People need to go to prison. You had Waltz come out with a thing going, they want to put me in prison, Mike Lindell and Elon Musk. Well, if you did something, which we think you did, yeah, anyone involved in this, prison, and deport. It has to happen now.
And he's not the only one advocating for that. Go ahead.
Listen, I love the message here, but something tells me there's a bottle of Buffalo Trace underneath that camera that we're not seeing. I'm just saying, listen, every word he's saying is correct, but that energy, I know that energy. I'm familiar with that energy. I feel it.
He's not
Mike
the
Lindell is
only
the
one
security
that's
on that.
echoing that, though. And Asmongold, and I'm sure you're familiar with Asmon. Many of our viewers might not know who Asmongold is, but he's a very high-profile streamer, has been for a long period of time. And I think, honestly, one of the godfathers of streaming, up there with Mr. Beast.
Yeah, JTV. The JTV before Twitch was Twitch. Yeah, that's how long he's been around.
Yep. So Asmongold was also echoing kind of like the same thoughts that essentially Mike Lindell and a lot of us are honestly feeling. People need to start going to prison for this shit. We are absolutely outraged about what's going on, but I want to see people getting arrested. I'm so sick of people just slip through the cracks.
You have to make the punishment infinitely worse than the crime. And I'm talking about deporting the entire family, denaturalizing the entire family, sending the entire group of them back to Somalia. That's what needs to happen. And anybody complicit and anybody involved in this scam. And until we have a candidate and a person that's willing to do that, then I'm not really interested in voting, if you want me to be honest. I'm really not interested in voting, because why is it that I'm going to vote for a slow rot of my country whenever the solution is so obvious? You can't flip the switch. Yeah, you can. You can easily flip the switch. You just do it. If J.D. Vance does not push for treason with capital punishment against Tim Walz, do not vote for him. If Trump does not deliver that, do not vote for him. Unless the most extreme, dramatic, brutal, aggressive option is on the table, I'm staying home. I'm staying home, bro.
I get it. I get the feeling. I get it. Because we're not seeing the arrests that have been promised. We're not seeing the perp walks. We're not seeing the justice that should absolutely be served. And I get really tired of having these conversations with people who want to argue about current law. Okay, laws were in place because of situations. Certain laws were put in place because they were required to exist. So why can't we push forward laws, or why can't we make these things happen based off what's currently happening right now? Why are we constantly calling back to laws that just are right now that are in place? Why do we have to do this? Why, when we talk about, and this might be extreme, but we talk about like Donald Trump's going for a third term, it's unconstitutional. First off, I want to make it clear, I don't want Donald Trump to go for a third term at all. But what a reductive way of thinking things. We could absolutely amend the Constitution. The Constitution has been amended a fuck ton of times. Guys, it was 10. It started off as 10. Okay, where are we at now? 27? Just food for thought.
I'm sharing the fatigue with Asmongold that we watched Donald Trump's house get raided. Mar-a-Lago got raided. They trashed Melania's room. They trashed Barron's room. They tore apart Mar-a-Lago. We saw Roger Stone get his fucking house raided. We were watching multiple raids happen on Republicans at witnessing the weaponization in real time of the DOJ. Okay, so I want to see people's houses getting raided. I want to see them get their shit ripped up. I want them to know what it fucking feels like when it's the shoes on the other fucking foot. I want them to feel it 100%. I want these people that are complicit in fraud, I want them fucking in jail, because if the Democrats were in office right now, they would not fucking hesitate to arrest anybody for fucking anything. You didn't even have to do it. They'll fucking arrest you.
Millie, you already proven that they would, because they've already have. They set the precedent. They set the precedent. And I think that we should follow suit. I think we should absolutely follow suit. This is ridiculous. This is an issue I've had with the GOP forever. They're spineless fucking cowards, unwilling to do what the people put them in power to do. They just, all they care about is maintaining their position, collecting whatever amount of money they can, and then, just fading off into the oblivion. We're all sick of this shit. We want things done. We voted for Donald Trump to put these people in jail who've committed crimes. I'm not saying invent new crimes or come up with new laws to make them criminals. The crimes are there. They're front and center. Prosecute, jail these motherfuckers. They broke the law. Put them in jail. What are we doing here? We don't need to create new things. These things already exist.
And I'm telling you right now, the world is starting to shift. And I'm watching this go down across multiple countries, where people are getting really fatigued about the globalism migration situation, where everybody's just taking in everybody from everywhere. People are getting really fatigued. And so I just wanted to show this last clip, and I might touch base on the Tennessee ruling situation, because the federal employees did file a lawsuit. So I might touch base on that really quick before we go. But this is where I think we're getting to. And I think that we're going to have to watch the UK fall before we wake up and go, if we don't do something, and do something now, and do something quick, this is going to be us. This will happen to us. The censorship, the bringing in mass migration, watching your children get raped in the street, watching your children get hit with rocks, or watching women be assaulted in the street simply because they're wearing something that foreigners that came in, it doesn't fit their culture. So
Please spare me the continued moral outrage. I am bored of it. The British people are bored of it. It is not cruel to deport criminals. It is not inhumane to defend our own citizens. What is cruel and what is inhumane is allowing foreign killers and sex offenders to walk amongst us in the name of the human rights they should have forfeited the moment they committed their crimes. Please spare.
And I think that we're all getting to the point where we stop using racism as a shield, and people are going to be like, I don't care if you fucking call me racist anymore. I don't care if you use this as a fucking shield. I'm going to rip that shield out of your fucking hand, and we're going to face this issue because it is starting to become a problem. People in America are getting absolutely fucking fatigued of watching foreigners be treated like royalty, and the citizens that have built this country and have paid into the tax system their entire fucking life are getting treated like shit and frankly like dirt. Yeah,
Well,
go pay your taxes. I'm gonna give this to some other fucking guy so he could set up in a luxury hotel. Fuck you.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the whole, labeling us racist because that's the only thing is like the only defense you can possibly come up with is that this person has more melanin. Okay, that's your defense. So they're allowed to commit any crime, whether it be rape, money laundering, robbery, whatever. But you're gonna shield these people because of the amount of pigment or melanin that's in their skin. Throw that away. Nobody's afraid anymore. Nobody's afraid anymore because we know your claims of racism is bullshit. Because you and I and them, they know it has nothing to do with race. It's everything to do with what these people are doing. It's everything to do with their culture and where they're coming from. They're not assimilating. They're not adhering to our laws, but they're getting special privileges because of what? What is it? Race. We're done with it. Fuck that. We don't care anymore. We're done with being labeled. We don't care if you label us. It's over. Your ability to scare us, your ability to threaten us of calling us racist, it's gone. We don't care. Nobody cares anymore. It's not about race. It's about the individual's activities. I believe I believe in oh my God, I cannot talk. Individualism. God, it's a big word. Yeah. I don't believe in collectivism at all. I believe that each individual is responsible for their own actions. Okay, when a person comes into a country in the West and they refuse to adhere to how we behave here, throw them back in jail or back to the country they came from. I couldn't give a shit less. I would prefer them to go back to where they came from because that type of behavior is obviously acceptable there, right? That's been the excuse of many of these judges in the UK and many places in Europe is that they don't know better. They're not familiar with this culture. They don't know. Okay, then why are they here? Why are they here? Did you do any sort of vetting on this person? Oh, it doesn't matter if you do vetting because the country they're coming from doesn't even keep proper fucking records on these people.
Yes, that part. But notice that even when it doesn't fit like the race agenda, right? So if I go criticize the trans community and say, hey, I don't like the things that the trans community are doing. I don't like them trying to force themselves into women's spaces and disregard their boundaries. Now it's like, oh, this is transphobia, so you can't talk about it. When I have criticisms of Islam, it's like you're Islamophobic. It's always this shield of you're a bigot, and because you're a bigot, I have to disregard all of your criticisms because you're just simply a racist, or you're just simply transphobic, or you're just simply Islamophobic. I'm so sorry. No, the point of accountability starts here. You don't get to hide behind your minority shield to shield you from criticism. That time is over. We had that under Obama. That's how you got Donald Trump, the most un-PC president that we've ever fucking had, was simply because you guys did all of this PC fucking culture. Everyone got fatigued. Now you have mean tweets in the White House. Okay. So that's where we're at. Speaking of transgenderism, the federal employees filed a lawsuit against the Trump administration over restricting coverage for gender-affirming care. They're mad that tax dollars are no longer being used to fund the chemical and surgical castration of people's genitals in the name of radical gender ideology. But wait, it's almost like we had a court case very similar to this not too long ago in Tennessee. Let's take a walk down memory lane. And remember, they try to use the 14th Amendment as the justification the Equal Protections Clause. And this is exactly what they tried to do with Roe v. Wade. So right here, this is from the Supreme Court, and they lay this out. Held, Tennessee law prohibiting certain medical treatments for transgender minors is not subject to heightened scrutiny under the Equal Protections Laws of the 14th Amendment and satisfies rational basis review.
Yep.
Okay. So
I'm so glad this happened. I'm so glad this happened. I'm so glad that they recognize that the difference of immutable characteristics and non-immutable characteristics was the whole premise of the argument in getting this passed through in Tennessee. So this is huge. This will set the stage for a lot of things.
Yep. And so right here down at the bottom, the Supreme Court says specifically that they upheld the U.S. Court of Appeals and the Sixth Circuit, and they affirmed the decision that the Equal Protections Clause does not apply. And right here at the bottom, it is so ordered. So the Supreme Court affirms the opinion. And so this silly little lawsuit that the federal employees are trying to bring over gender affirming care, it's not going to fly. Supreme Court already upheld these decisions. And so good luck. It's another wasted tax dollars going towards gender affirming care lawsuits. I'm just over it.
If you guys are interested in going through that entire Tennessee case, the predication of the people defending this type of care was based off of immutable characteristics, and your gender is not your gender. Your sex is an immutable characteristic, and if you can change it, then it's not considered an immutable characteristic. Thus, it's not actually protected under this law. So it's going to expand. That ruling in Tennessee was so important. It's going to impact so many other things. This is just the beginning. This military thing is just the beginning, because yes, you can lop off your thing, but it's not going to change your biology at all. All you're doing is mutilating yourself to try to achieve something that you can never achieve. Again, immutable characteristic. You cannot change it. You can disfigure yourself all you want, but nothing changes the fact you will never become a woman if you are a man. You will never become a man if you are a woman. That's just a fact. It's a biological fact.
100%. All right, guys. Well, that concludes the end of the show for tonight. I think we did an extra long section. I think we're running about 2 hours long.
We have fun.
So
we have fun.
Thanks for hanging in there with us, Unrealness. And I think we had a great time today. Catch us next week on the Red Rover Republic podcast. We will be bringing the older millennial will be here with us next week. I will be bringing a special guest, Logic and Liberty, as well. Hopefully she'll be able to make it. And it'll be an interesting session to talk about where the future of the Republican Party is heading and how we all agree and disagree as conservatives. So look forward to that next week.
It's probably a little heated, so definitely tune in. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I love fighting with my friends. Not.
Me too. I love it.
All right, guys. Well, take care. Have a safe weekend. Happy New Year from the Red Rover Republic. Good night, guys.